All right. Do we have volume? Looks like we have volume. Cheers, everyone. Ah, all right. Let's see what we got going on. Anything in the chat? Open chat. Enable. Tom Holladay, hello, sir. One of my topics of discussion tonight. Well, not one of, you are. Like one of makes it sound like a what, not a who. Iroquois Foreskin, hello, sir. I'm glad to see that you have made it. All right. Tonight's live chat is brought to you by the Patch Panel. Crystal, hello. Colt, hello, hello. The Patch Panel, link inbound here, is a fine seller of custom patches such as the one seen on the screen right now. All of those patches that are black are a Pro IR level black. They do custom patches like up there with the little flag and other cool shit. They are today's sponsor. DJ, hello. Jeff Ray, hello, hello. All right. So now we got that out of the way. This tonight's sponsor. Just a reminder, there's only like 2 weeks left for the free first wave holster that you can sign up for, and I'll throw a link up there here in a second. Wow. Go there, sign in, and not the next live chat, but the one after. We are giving away an instructor holster for any of the guns that the instructor holster is made for in Rhodesian brushstroke. So that is happening in a couple live chats from now. That is our Q2 giveaway. The Q3 giveaway has already been figured out what the prize is going to be, but not yet telling you. Indeed, free holster it is. Speaking of holsters, I got some pictures of the newest first wave holster. Someone that I know, a dear friend of mine, who shall remain nameless, said, "Hey man, so what can the first wave custom shop do?" And I was like, "Custom stuff." And I said, "Why? What do you want?" And I'll find out. And he said, "Well, I want outside the waistband holster." I was like, "Dude, get the instructor holster and stuff." And he said he wants it for a macro. I was like, "Perfect, comes for a macro." And then he said, "But I don't want it to have such a large footprint. I want it to be a taco holster." And I was like, "Oh, well, whatever method you use to attach it's going to be thick and like it'll stick it away from you a little bit." And he said, "Yeah, well, if it didn't stick out a lot, that'd be great. Minimal stick out." I was like, "I don't know." He said, "What about some of them carbon fiber wings?" They're not really carbon fiber, ish. They're Tegris, which is some type of, I guess, carbon fiber. And I was like, "Oh, I don't fucking know." He goes, "I want a taco with wings." Taco with wings. I said, "Okay. What are we gonna do?" So I let the guys know, and they came up with something. I have a picture here. So here is the front of the holster. It is in some sort of like topographic map, and it is a taco style holster. But the back of it, you can see that it has wings instead of like a combat loop or a tech lock or whatever, and or being inside the waistband. So, okay. I was like, what are we going to call it? And lo and behold, if you have a taco with wings, you really don't have any choice but to call it the meat curtain. So that's what this is. It is the meat curtain. Unfortunately, it's not pink on the inside. Okay. possibly there is a way for me to do this and make a link. Damn, it worked. It worked. All right. So, oh, you know what I forgot to do? Shit. I'm gonna do it. It's just gonna be you guys are gonna watch me do it. I forgot to take the questions and from the event tonight and put them in. I don't even know if I can now because the event has started. Maybe live now, live chat. What if I just want to do the discussion? Discussion, haha. Over here, I can see the questions. Yes. All right. So I will have the questions when we get to the questions. Okay, so to answer the questions that popped up, I don't think Flying Taco was copyrighted, but I think Meat Curtain is a much better name for a taco with wings. Line it with pink felt. Are there aren't the old Safari Land like 6004s? Weren't they felt lined? I don't know how you go about doing that. And then the other question was, where did I get the mug? I want to say Grownfell Meadery, which is a meadery that sells mead online. I think that they had this mug, and I bought some mead from them and had them throw the mug in. I think that's where I got it. So let's see what else are we doing. Oh, new websites up, right? And I've been going through and adding a couple blog articles every day, which comes to one of the questions. Somebody had a question about one of the blog articles. But oh, no visible chat. You know what? TJ, you're right. I think this will fix it. So now somebody should chat something. Next weekend gonna be awesome. Oh, so that was one of the things with the website is about next weekend. So there's still like it's the website says there's 3 spots left. There are 2 special guests that have not yet confirmed that they are making the trip. So if they text me right now, I will get on and remove one of those slots. So potentially there could only be 1 slot left. But when I was doing the new website, I have all these old coupon codes. Like if you had bought a bottle of Imperium, there's a discount off a class, and I have to port all those in. So that was kind of next on my list while I was doing the blog articles was to go get the discount. So I had to like Google how the hell you make a discount in big commerce. So I was looking at all the different options, and I tried one, and it works. And did Emmett reach out to you? I don't think an Emmett has reached out to me. I don't. Do I know an Emmett? Have we talked about an Emmett? But I haven't. I don't think I've heard from an Emmett. I can't really check like while I'm in the middle of a live chat. But if you add any 2 fish classes to your cart with no codes or anything, the discount fish combo will automatically apply and knock $50 off, like 25 off each class. And that was my trial. So if in the next, so what are we at? Like today's Wednesday. So in the next like 8 or 9 days, if somebody takes that last spot in the Ohio fish, or they're signing up for the one in Ohio or fish 3 and 4 here in PA in July, whatever, if you add 2, it should knock $50 off. And if it doesn't, let me know because it's me trying to figure out how to make the discount codes work. Oh, no, Scott, he did not. I should bring a bottle of Imperium to Ohio. That would work, except I don't have there's only one bottle left here at my house, and it is my wife's bottle, so I don't have one to share. Uh, oh, one fish, two fish, isn't that? Is that Dr. Seuss? Um, I just named it fish combo, like like a fish platter combo. But you don't actually see the name of it. It just knocks the money off. Yes, you ask her nicely and let me know how that works for you. They kick people out when they close, Aiden. Essentially, uh, if they allowed people to stay later, we'd have stretched that, especially Saturday, longer and did more stuff because, like, I'm going to be stuck in Ohio anyway. We might as well, do it, be in the classroom. But their hours are their hours. Um, so yes, the fish platter combo will save you $2, even if it's 3 fish and 4 fish. See what I did there? I don't know if the Dr. Seuss thing goes to 3 and 4. Shinde, hello, sir. Jeff, enjoy yourself. So there, Scott is the boots on the ground. Not a hard stop, but they want to go home. And like up here in when we do it at roll call in Scranton, it's the same. Like, they close at 5 on Sunday, which is early, but here we added Friday afternoon as well. But like they're cleaning up and leaving, and they're usually all gone by 5:20 or so. So like the last customer, they kind of give the boot at 5, and then they've got 10-15 minutes that they're wrapping up, taking out garbage and that kind of shit. So we had a little extra time, but not a lot because like people are getting paid to stay there. Um, so the big internet drama. That's the big thing on my list. Um, nope, I don't get anything. Is very first commenter Tom Hollyby. He made a video some time back. He has a lot of videos, like shorts, reels, that kind of thing. And I mean, not gonna lie, I don't necessarily listen to them all because it's common knowledge. I watch the internet on mute and usually have something else playing with noise. Usually not audiobooks, but usually music. So uh, I kind of scroll past anything that you have to listen to. And I caught a thing here or there when I happened to be somewhere where I had my phone volume actually turned up or whatever. And I saw the big to do. I addressed it I think a couple weeks back about like there's something about slings, and I hadn't actually gone and watched it. And then Tom shared a reply from Sonny that also was on mute that I didn't hear, but I just stopped and read some of the comments. I was like, man, the commenters, wow. So like I wanted to jump in and like, pour gas on the fire and shit because I'm kind of known for stirring shit with a boat oar. So I had to go watch the original video with the sound on and listen to it. And then I listened to Sonny's reply, and then I started reading the comments. Or was going to launch into the comments. Before I listened to them, I think I did comment there that somebody made up a new name to call Sonny, and I was like, "Fuck, they're making up names to call someone." Man, I'm so envious. Like that's pure hater right there. And then I finally went back like the next day and listened to stuff, and not. Pop Imperium. Catch up with everybody. So I watched the video. Okay. Watch Sonny's reply. Okay. and then compared that to the comments, because now, I have a point of reference for the comments. And man, the commenters. So I talked to Tom today. Well, we chatted. I don't think we've ever actually spoken. And I well, not really about like the sling. Like the sling popped up a little bit, but it was the people commenting that just said, my sensei told me I have to wear a sling. It has to be attached to the right side of the stock and the left side of the rail all the way at the front. I will wrap my arm around it to make it tight to my shoulder, and that is how I will shoot. So saith the sensei. And at no point did they go, well, how did you get to that conclusion? And then compare like the notes of how they got to their conclusion. Some of the folks, I'm pretty sure, didn't get to their conclusion. They just were told that's the conclusion. And I was like, none of these people are students. A student asks questions, and when that was so far from what they were doing, that I was like, I don't know what these people what they do, and I don't know what their role is. And then apparently some of them are also instructors, and an instructor who isn't a student probably isn't an instructor either. Now, agree or disagree, it seems like the thing to do would be to talk to the person who has a different way of doing something and saying, hey man, how'd you come to that? And then have dialogue. Like I've had that with every instructor I've ever taken a class from, and some that were gracious enough to give away some of their free internet time when you can reply, like, hey man, I got a question about that, and they actually answer it. There isn't as much of that as there is paying a dude cash and going to class. But I guess I've seen students do that, pay money to go to class just to say, well, this is how I do things. And like I've had dudes pay me, $500 to tell me how they do things, which is great. I generally tell people how I do things when they pay me. I don't pay someone to be allowed to tell them how I do stuff. But apparently that's how some students in real life are, and most of the people on the internet are. Of course, you don't have to pay anything. So when it's free, it's real easy to do that. Yeah, I was echo chambered, no doubt. And like one dude, basically said the entire global war on terrorism was fought exclusively close quarters battle with no shots fired, 100% hand to hand, even though there were rifles involved. And every single conflict was resolved as an American win only if the American was wearing a sling. Okay, I'm kidding. It's not really what he said. I will call that paraphrasing. But it was not what I would consider a valid argument. That's the exact same as saying, well, 1911's won 2 world wars. Okay, your 1911 was in 2 world wars, just like Homeboy's sling was in the global war on terror. That we know. There was also a lot of other things there too. I think the Taliban was in the global war on terror. I guess they're the be all end all too. So yeah, the commenters, holy shit, just blew my mind. And I one of the comments, I made a post about it earlier over on my book face, that where a dude was like, well, global war on terror veterans, fucking greatest warriors to ever walk the face of the fucking planet in history or something. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. You know, not even the most badass living American veterans, but whatever. Hey, you know what? We're talking about two world wars, and Scott says that there are machine guns and trench shotguns, both things that he wants. Check this out. There is video, like footage, live footage of World War II, like action footage, a little bit of World War One, not as much. In still photos, obviously a lot more World War II than World War One, also. And you know what you don't see hardly anybody doing when they're shooting their rifles? Wearing a fucking sling. So if we're just going to go on the argument of America's weakest warriors ever use slings in Iraq and Afghanistan, then we can look at America's strongest warriors ever didn't use slings to slay the Germans and the Japanese. Oh, because it's a stupid fucking argument. Like that doesn't make a point. But whatever. And at the end of it, I'm not here to debate whether or not using a sling or not using a sling, or when you should use a sling and when you shouldn't use a sling are important. Like that wasn't the point. We could have that discussion. I've probably had some discussion about it before at some point as well, because even the most ardent fucking user of a sling does not drive his car with his rifle slung. Just fucking sure of it. So, how about that? And then it was weird over on my personal book face, like you know how it shows memories, and like 12 years ago or something, there was a picture of me that my buddy took. We were at the range, and I was trying really hard. That was like a phase where I had instructors tell me that the single point sling was the shit, and I was trying hard to like it. And there was a picture of the single point sling. And I was like, man, of all days for this to pop up. And boy, are they fucking garbage. I don't know what's worse, a single point sling or a 3-point sling. And I've heard for years, for 25 years, a sling is to a rifle as a holster is to a pistol. Whether that's true or not, we can have a different debate as if you want. But if we're talking a single point sling, that's not like a holster. You don't stow your fucking rifle on a single point sling. It's like having a pistol on a lanyard. If you fall down a hill, it keeps it from rolling away from you, and that's it. Like nobody fucking walks around with their single point sling rifle slung that way. Fucking God, they're stupid. The slings, not the people. The people might be, but it'd be awesome if we had a 3-point sling that converts to a 1-point sling and just skips the 2-point part altogether. So you know how like if you have a Garand, you know, the sling is on the bottom of the gun like a hunting rifle. I'd rather have that, like 2 points connected there, than a single point sling. Because at least then, if I want to fucking do something with my hands, I can. Like the sling helps me do shit with my hands. A single point just means now I hold the rifle with one hand and a sling, and then the other hand can do stuff. Which, if you listen to the people on the internet, means I can't shoot a pistol because you can't do that one handed. It has to always be like a proper fighting stance, two-handed grip, and like whatever the latest trend du jour is. Whole nother topic to get into. Oh, what's QR codes? Oh, that's that. What's this? Nothing. Okay. Sorry, I was playing around with Restream. Adam, that's awesome. Dude, posing with a single point sling, no mag in the rifle. You know what would have made it better? If there was a fucking BFA on the end of the barrel. Like, homies, if that's what you got, like, fuck, you know what? I've probably got pictures of me without a mag in a rifle because I ran out of mags. So I should probably not fucking throw stones. All right. Let's see. What else we got going on? Study group 67. We're doing a rifle build party. 15th of July. Doing that in the morning. Going to grill some meat. And in the afternoon, we're going to do a painting party. Study group 68 will be bug out 19. That's happening too. Oh, Tom, that was awesome. So Sonny, did Sonny use the term snowflakes? I know he certainly alluded to them that they were snowflakes. And then they did the most snowflake reaction ever to it. And I was like, oh, nothing like being, right up the or playing into the stereotype. That's what I was looking for. Scott, for class, are we bringing rifles for your bolts and your handguns only? So bring your mantis, bring your rifle. That's it. All right. I hope you're wearing clothes, man. You can bring extras if you like. All right. So, what we got for 8:35? Doing good on time. We're like halfway, which leads into some of the questions. And since we're talking UTM and we're talking pistols, we can bring that up to the first question that TJ wrote. Do UTM Glocks cycle with red dots on them? So the ATEI will mill your UTM slide for a red dot. They cut off the iron sights because on the UTM guns on Glocks and only Glocks, the iron sights are one piece with the slide. Like there's not a dovetail with a slide or with a iron sight in it. So they cut that off, and then they machine a spot for a red dot. Then that exposes some of the UTM internals. So then they weld those up, then they clean that back up, and then you can mount a red dot. Plus, now that's one way of going about it. The other option is for a Gen 5 Glock, 17 and 19, I believe. They make an MOS slide. You can only run an RMR or one of the HoloSun models. I can't remember which one. And that they say it will work because they're light enough to work. Now, I'm sure that with all the fucking new ones coming out, there are probably a bunch of them that are light enough for it to work. But when they came out with the MOS UTM gun, they knew that those two models were light enough. If you have ATEI do it, I have no idea what the weight threshold is because I don't know how much engineering UTM did in that Gen 5 Glock that isn't done in the Gen 3 Glock, even after ATEI welds it up and stuff. There's no data that I know of on that. So that is part one of Do They? I will address that comment next, Aiden. Any plans to get a red dot UTM set up to test irons versus dots and force on force? So, with that, now that I own a Gen 5 19, because I have a bunch of Gen 3 frames and I can't put the Gen 5 with the red dot on it. So, but I do have a personal Gen 5 19. I could buy one, but I mean, it's like $600 plus the cost of a red dot. So, you add another couple hundred onto it. That's $800. And like, I have a hard time investing in it just to collect data. Like I don't run enough pistol force on force classes for it to be a necessity. And that's mostly because the only pistol force on force class I run require role players. So there's a lot of moving parts to get one of them classes to work. So I don't do it a lot because it's fucking difficult on the logistical side. So if I was running more of those or a different type of class that utilized those UTM pistols more, I'd say that maybe investing, $800 to add another gun to the repertoire might be viable. Because like right now, 5 Glock 19s Gen 3 and an M&P are what is in my UTM pile of guns downstairs. So like I don't need another one. Possibly if I could do it over and I knew that Gen 5 thing was coming out, I might have went that way for one of them, but as it stands now, probably not. All right. So now, Aiden, you asked, do UTMs and suppressors get along? Do they mix? So I have run UTM with a suppressor a couple of times. We had a student once doing that, and he got a baffle strike, not because everything was out of alignment, but UTMs are not as aerodynamically efficient as a bullet. They're super light, and their ballistic coefficient is an insane, ungodly high number. So it touched somewhere inside the can and then got stuck in between the baffles. And he spent a couple weeks shaking it, trying to get it to come out. He ended up sending it back. I can't remember to who. And they disassembled the can, took it out. So what I do, I don't have either of those guns up here, is I bought a inert suppressor from Gemtech. So it's just a tube on the inside and a tube on the outside with the end caps. The tube on the inside doesn't have any holes or anything in it. The whole thing's aluminum. So it replicates the size of a can and the shape and all that and attaches the same way. I got a direct thread. And I put that on my dedicated sim gun, dedicated sim upper. And that is what I do. So there's nothing inside for it to potentially get caught on. So, a dozen guys shooting thousands of rounds. One of them had an issue, but it was enough for me to go, I don't want to deal with all that. Oh, Shinde says he go halves on the slide. So next time we chat Shinde, we'll figure that out then. So that we have a Gen 5 19 Glock 19 slide with a dot. And then we'll do some hollow sun because they're the most affordable and still pretty rugged. Whatever hollow sun that UTM says they're sure works. Oh, yes, Adam, that's the other thing. If you have a can that you can take apart, then it's fine because you could just take it apart. My Atlas can is also take a bull apart. Wow, English is my freak language. However, my last two, my rifle cans are not. They are both Gemtech, and one was really, really affordable, and the other one I traded stuff for. So it wasn't that Atlas was off the table, but it also, I absolutely only was going to get a titanium can that was direct thread. That was it. There were no other choices. Detroit schools weren't good to who? I don't think anyone here has ever been to a Detroit school. I was born and raised in Pennsylvania. My mom lived in Detroit. All right. So, next question. Have you seen the bootleg bolt carrier do okay in class? I know you prefer the Gemtech, just curious if you've seen them around. They're more available since you are hoarding all the Gemtechs like Smaug on the mountain, which I think is a Lord of the Rings reference, but I don't remember which character Smaug was. Or was that the guy like the Precious dude? I don't know. Anyway. So as it turns out, Gemtech had licensed that design from the patent holder. The patent holder is Primary Weapon Systems, the makers of the bootleg, which I did not know, although the designs are different. The bootleg has 4 positions. I don't think the middle 2 are necessary. But if you want to tune the rifle to the load that you're shooting, which I'm not super interested in. And the thing I don't like about it is with the ejection port open, you can just stick a tool in there and adjust it to one of the 4 settings. What I like about the Gemtech is, which was the original design on the patent, is you have to take the bolt carrier out and turn it because there's a leg that can't be turned while it's inside the gun. And the reason I say this is the first bootleg that came out, I was like, oh, perfect. Like this will be awesome. We can get these bolt carriers, and we don't have to like wait for Gemtech to release them. However, student class having problems, and it was on the wrong setting. I have no idea if it changed on its own or if he changed it to the wrong one when he was changing it. But I was like, man, if there were just 2 positions, suppressed and unsuppressed, and it couldn't be changed while it was in the gun, we'd be positive that kid wouldn't have had any problems. So I was like, yeah, just give me the Gemtech. And so I'm hoping, since Primary Weapon Systems, they were bought by another company. When they were bought by another company, Gemtech's license wasn't renewed. Probably not a coincidence. So I'm hoping that Primary Weapons Systems will make both versions of it, because I like the two version and not being able to change in the gun. So, but I've seen other guys bring them and they ran okay. But the very first one, the gun wasn't running and it was set on the wrong thing. Could very well be user error, or it may have moved on its own. Don't know. Oh, Dragon was the Smog was the Hordy Dragon. See, not quite Lord of the Rings. It was the other one, the Hobbit. Eggs Benedict Cumberblossom. That's awesome. That's the funniest thing you've ever said. All right, so that is the bolt carrier question. And if anybody here is looking for a Gemtech bolt carrier, I know where there's some at. And again, they are lower priced than retail. They're not as many as I found before, but they are out there. So before I just post a link and they all sell out, I'm kind of holding it tight to my chest until people ask. The Hobbit is Lord of the Rings. Well, there's only like one fucking character from one story to the other. And they're in different books with different titles. One trilogy says Lord of the Rings. The other one says The Hobbit. And I remember seeing them in my library. each Lord of the Ring book was like this thick, and there was 3 of them. And then the Hobbit book was 1, and it was like this thick. And that they both required 3 movies to tell the story. Oh. Sorry, Adam. Don't know what to tell you. Speaking of bolt carriers, that was one of the other questions I got was about the blog article on charging handles. And the reason that that reminded me is because in front of me I have a receiver with a bolt carrier. It's a Gemtech and a charging handle. And I told the cat I would answer his question live on the videos tonight. Dude, Scott, yes, the clerk's description of Lord of the Rings. Walking and walking and walking. Bunch of halflings walking. So you have this rifle. Imagine there's the rest of it. YouTube will shut a video down for showing a live gun. So that's why we do cert guns, which are not real and not obviously a gun. Got this thing, whatever reason, we're going to run the charging handle. Step 1, we rotate the ejection port here with an open Magpul door on it towards the ground. Step 1 all the time. Doesn't matter what we're doing to the gun. If we're going to operate the charging handle, step 1, rotate the ejection port towards the earth. We let Mother Gaia assist in all of the things that we're going to do next. No point in gravity working against us when we have the force of gravity to work with us. Then we're going to reach over the top of the gun and we're going to grab the little lever and we're going to run it to the back. We'll leave it go. Obviously here there's no buffer spring to push it back. And if we do it with the right hand, it looks like this. And if we do it with the left hand, it looks like this. At no point do we flip it to the other side and look for some lever over here. There needs to be no lever. This ear doesn't need to be over here. So they are all indeed ambidextrous. When we roll the gun, so the ejection port is pointing towards the earth, the uppermost part of the rifle is the lever of the charging handle. No matter which hand grabs it, it is still the thing closest to our face. Hence, they're all ambidextrous. So, hopefully that answers your question. Hopefully you were watching. Damn, Shinde, you're a fucking smog, or whatever the fucking dragon's name is. I only have, I might have 4 too. One of them's in the box. I'm sure all of yours are. The Magpul dust cover, no. I wouldn't say it's worth changing out to. Mine had a little bit of flash, like in the mold line, that I had to, like, take the edge of a knife and just kind of scrape the mold line off because it would rub. But if you have to change a door because the little spring broke or the, whatever, I would replace it with a Magpul because the putting it on and taking it off is so much easier. But I wouldn't. I think I have 2 rifles here with them. I'm not going to go change all the other ones just because there's no point in it. But if for some reason I had to change one, I would add it. Or if I was going to build a rifle, and whatever, they're like $14 or something like that. People are like, oh, well, the regular one's only $4. Oh, okay, I'm not worried about an extra 10 fucking bucks. But I wouldn't feel the need to go swap them out on purpose. I have a rifle here with an arrow bolt in it, and it has held up way longer than my spikes bolt did. All right. Let's see what is next on the question list. What shotgun load would you use for drones? I I don't know. I've never tried to shoot a drone. Um, I've shot clay pigeons and empty shotgun hulls out of the air, and I used like number 7 shot. But like I don't know how far number 7 shot has any oomph. I'd ask one of them like sporting clays guys, because I'd think a drone's pretty, like it would be able to stay pretty far away. I would think. I guess it really depends on the drone. I know the popular ones like that DJI or DJ2 or DJ something, um, the Chinese one where they transmit all your data back to the Chinese government. Um, and is the camera good enough to be like out of birdshot range? Like I don't know. I haven't seen Mike pop in yet. He's my drone guy, so I'm not sure. Crystal is right. I would probably attempt it with 9mm. That is the shotgun round I would do. And here's the thing: if I see a fucking drone, you know what the chances of me having a shotgun handy are? Pretty fucking slim, unless I'm in the bathroom, because both my bathrooms have shotguns in them, and all of my shotguns, both of them, are in bathrooms. So unless I'm going to a shotgun class and see a drone, I won't even get a chance to find out. And 2 more questions on here. Do you think tactical sugar cookie on an everyday carry handgun is too much or uncomfortable? Does it tear up your shirts, skin, and stuff? So I have 2 different grits of sugar cookie that I use. 40-60, like it's a blend of 40 grit and 60 grit. Oh, did it get real fuzzy for a second? Why did it do that? I made a face and like it looks like it's fuzzy on my fucking. Hey, there we go. Ooh, it was probably better fuzzy. Sorry, I was reading comments. Sugar cookie. So yeah, I think it's 40-60 and 72-90, or I don't remember. It's written on the fucking Ziploc container, like a sandwich container that I have them in. I just don't remember what they are at the top of my head. The finer grit of the 2, I think, works out great. If you had like the new M&P, like the 2.0, or the RTF Glock, you like that, you might be okay with the heavier grit. I have the heavier grit on my M&P 1.0, but it's been worn down just from being used a bunch after I did it. I did get some like chafing on my love handles, but I thought the problem was having love handles more than the sugar cookie. But even on my 365, the texture I think is plenty good enough. But around the bottom edge of it, like where the magwellish portion is, not that there's like a magwell on it, I ran a strip of sugar cookie around it, and it has not ripped up my shirts or my skin. So it'll probably be fine. It does increase the girth a little bit, like makes it a little fatter. Then last one. What is the right way to recover from and address an ND? Well, so recover from certainly sounds like you're the person with an ND. An address sounds like you were with someone else that had an ND. Assuming it's a ND into a safe direction, like the other firearm safety rules were being followed, the best way to recover from one would be to straight up admit it on the spot. Hey, this just happened. Now I'm going to figure out why this happened. I will talk it out loud with the people I'm there with. I guess it could be at a place where like that would be a thing that would get you ejected or disqualified, in which case, you got to take your lumps, whatever those are. Um, but if you were doing something wrong, like what caused it, and learn from it. Uh, I guess that would be the best way to recover from it, and the best way to address it if somebody else has it is. So I have seen it happen in class a couple different times when I was at tactical response, and it was just as simple like, hey, so I'm just going to need you to take the magazine out of that gun and make it empty, and I'm going to have you put it in your holster, and then we're going to go sit down and we're going to have a chat. And the company policy there was talk to them, let them sit out a drill or two, uh, collect themselves, and if they wanted to, we could get them loaded back up, come back on the line. They didn't get to stay if there were two. So that was the way to address it. Now, if you get them holstered up and then you talk to them and they are a complete wreck, which is completely understandable, then you gotta nix it right there. However, this is my thought on it. As a business owner and an instructor, if somebody had one, shot one into the berm when they didn't mean to, into the ground, and that got inside their head, okay, you're not going to be able to finish the class. You can definitely stay if you want. You can learn things not from being online. And I still owe you a class, so you'll still get that class. And then I would also offer them some sort of, if they wanted a private instruction before that next class, some type of deal on that as well. That's how I would address it. So I got to admit, I'm in class, 25 students in class. I'm a student in class. I was a working instructor at the time. I was in another instructor's class. Final drill of the 2-day class. It's a rifle class. Shoot some targets, transition to some different targets, move. So I moved, went to go to like the second array of targets. And as I was getting the rifle, everything where I wanted, pow, I had an ND. My eye was not looking through the optic yet. And the steel target went, ba-ding. So I went, oh, well, I guess I'm going to shoot the rest of the drill. And I finished the whole drill. At the end of the class, and all the times were added up, I had the second best time of the class. And there was essentially an ND in like shot number 4. But to this day, I still consider it an ND because I wasn't looking through the optic and had the dot on the steel target, and I was just trying to chase time. And that was 2015, probably. There might be people watching this that were in that class with me. Oh my. All right, Scott is out of here. I got an hour long myself, and my awesome cup is empty. There was some huckleberry something in there. So before we leave, I'll give you a heads up. I've been talking to some people to be guests in upcoming live chats. Don Ammons of the UW Gear has agreed. We have some topics we want to talk about. And I should have had him on tonight, but I guess we just didn't schedule which Wednesday we were going to do it, and we didn't. So, but he is coming on. And then the different guest that we're working on is a much more popular YouTuber than I am, and which is probably where you know him from. But he's a pretty entertaining cat that makes a lot of good points. And there is a subject that he has caused some internet drama about, and he and I don't necessarily agree on what the drama has, like the subject of the drama. I'm not going to name drop him yet, but he has agreed. We just got to figure out which Wednesday we're going to do it. And if you guys are interested, you can. I'm going to put. I'll put a post up over on the book faces. And can I do a poll on my business page? I don't know. Do they let you do polls, or can you do polls in a group? Whatever. Either way, we'll try and see if anyone can guess it right. And if somebody guesses it right, they will get probably nothing for it. But I'll name drop them during the video. How about that? All right. Charlie from Garanthrum. Is there a Charlie on the Garanthrum channel? Isn't the main guy's name Mike? Is there another dude? I don't know. All right. So with that, it's been that much time. I'm going to pop smoke, make that a Patriot smoke. And I'll see you all in a week.